It's official. We're in the Axis now. According to Jennifer Hansler with CNN, the United States joined Russia to vote against the United Nations General Assembly resolution condemning Russia's war against Ukraine Monday in a stunning shift from years of U.S. policy. The vote against the Ukrainian and European-backed resolution saw the U.S. at odds with its longtime European allies and instead aligned with the aggressor in the war on the 3-year anniversary of Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The U.S. again voted the same way as Russia later Monday on a U.S. proposed UN Security Council resolution that did not call the Kremlin the aggressor or acknowledge Ukraine's territorial integrity. The resolution passed without the support of 5 European members of the Security Council. According to Michelle Nichols at Reuters, the short resolution reflects Trump's upending of the U.S. policy on Ukraine after taking office last month and his more conciliatory stance towards Russia. In contrast, former President Joe Biden's administration led efforts at the United Nations to support Ukraine throughout the war. The Security Council resolutions are considered binding, while General Assembly resolutions are not. However, General Assembly resolutions carry political weight, reflecting a global view on the war. The Security Council adopted the U.S. resolution with 10 votes in favor, while France, Britain, Denmark, Greece, and Slovenia abstained. Russia voted in favor after failing to amend it and vetoing European bids to add language supporting Ukraine. According to Elizabeth Crisp with The Hill, 17 countries in the United Nations General Assembly joined the U.S. on Monday in voting against a non-binding resolution condemning Russia, more than double the vote against a similar resolution 2 years ago. The 16 countries that voted against Monday's resolution alongside U.S. and Russia were Israel. Good thing Trump pulled us out of that anti-Semitic Human Rights Council before he announced the plans for Trump Tower Gaza. Am I the only one that noticed that? Because I never heard anyone report it. Also, I heard 2 MSNBC reporters today falsely claim that Iran voted against it, but no mention of Israel. And the other countries were Haiti, Hungary, Palau, and the Marshall Islands. The African countries, Burkina Faso, Burundi, the Central African Republic, Equatorial Guinea, Niger, and Sudan, and Belarus, North Korea, Syria, Eritrea, Mali, and Nicaragua. 6 countries that voted against the 2023 resolution. I won't do it. I can't say it loudly or often enough. I will not be Putin's bitch. I will not be Putin's bitch. I will not be Putin's bitch. I will not be Netanyahu's bitch. And I sure as hell won't ever turn Nazi for Trump. They can make every day a new low. I got some truth to tell. Let's do this.
The following moments may contain explicit language. Viewer discretion is advised.
According to Ed Pilkington with The Guardian, Elon Musk's cost-cutting bonanza appears to be having less impact than the world's richest man is claiming, with a review finding that almost 40% of the federal contracts scrapped so far will save the American taxpayer not a penny. The Associated Press put under the microscope a list of 1,125 federal government contracts that Musk's Department of Government Efficiency boasted it had torn up in the first month of the new Trump cabal. The news agency found that of those, 417 were likely to produce no savings to the federal budget. The shredded contracts had been flaunted by DOGE on its wall of receipts. Yet, in many cases, the money had already been spent or had been legally committed to the extent that it was too late to recoup the funds. The review is just the latest investigation suggesting that Musk stampeded through federal departments in an attempt to supposedly uncover fraud and reduced waste is not having the benefits claimed for it. One of the canceled contracts was listed on the wall of receipts as being worth $8 billion, when in fact the New York Times discovered it was valued at $8 million. Now awkward questions are being asked by federal judges about whether DOGE and Musk's role within it are even lawful. At a hearing in Washington, D.C. on Monday, during a lawsuit over whether Musk's team of disruptors should be given access to sensitive Treasury Department data, a federal judge raised concerns about the constitutionality of DOGE's structure and operation. Colleen Culler-Catelli pointed out that under the Appointments Clause of the U.S. Constitution, federal agencies are generally run by officials appointed by the President, but subject to confirmation by the Senate, which Musk has not been. According to Ryan J. Foley of the Associated Press, an administration official said it made sense to cancel contracts that are seen as potential dead weight, even if the moves do not yield any savings. The official was not authorized to discuss the matter publicly and spoke on a condition of anonymity. The Trump cabal says it is targeting fraud, waste, and abuse in the government. DOGE said Monday that its cost-cutting efforts have saved an estimated $65 billion, including canceling leases and grants, cutting employees, and selling assets. That figure has not been independently verified. Some of the canceled contracts were for research studies that have been awarded, training that has taken place, software that has been purchased, and interns who have come and gone. Dozens of them were for already paid subscriptions to the Associated Press, Politico, and other media services that the Republican administration said it would discontinue. Other canceled contracts were to purchase a wide range of goods and services. The Department of Housing and Urban Development awarded a contract in September to purchase and install office furniture at various branches. While the contract does not expire until later this year, federal records show the agency had already agreed to spend the maximum $567,809 with a furniture company. The U.S. Agency for International Development negotiated a $145,549 contract last year to clean the carpet at its headquarters in Washington. But the full amount had already been obligated to a firm that is owned by a Native American tribe based in Michigan. Another already spent $249,600 contract went to a Washington, D.C. firm to help prepare the Department of Transportation for the recent transition from President Joe Biden's administration to Trump's. DOGE says the overall contract cancellations are expected to save $9.6 billion, an amount that has been questioned as inflated by independent experts. Some of the canceled contracts were intended to modernize and improve the way government works, which seems to be at odds with DOGE's cost-cutting mission. One of the largest, for instance, went to a consulting firm to help carry out a reorganization at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases, which led the agency's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The maximum $13.6 million had already been obligated to Deloitte Consulting LLP for help with the restructuring, which included closing several research offices. What it all amounts to is that DOGE is just some smoke and mirrors bullshit. Look at the shiny object while oligarchs stuff their pockets with our hard-earned tax money. It doesn't matter if they're saving $567,809 here or $249,600 there, because we're $36 trillion in debt. These 6 and 7 digit numbers sound like a lot of money because it's more than most of us will ever see. But a trillion is a 1 followed by 12 fucking zeros. Do some math. There's a calculator on your phone. I doubt if it'll hold 14 digits because that's an insanely high number. Congress is about to pass another $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for the oligarchs. 14 digits of debt times 4. And if it's not bad enough, we pay these fuckers for being too rich and powerful and let them live tax-free. Elon and Trump still fired 7,000 IRS agents so they don't get caught cheating. If this is what you voted for, fuck you. According to Lisa Mascaro, Kevin Frecking, and Matt Brown with the AP, House Speaker Mike Johnson will try against the odds to muscle a Republican budget blueprint to passage this week, a step toward delivering President Trump's big, beautiful bill. With almost no votes to spare in Johnson's bare-bones GOP majority, the Speaker is fighting on all fronts against Democrats, uneasy rank-and-file Republicans, and skeptical GOP senators as he works to keep the package on track. Votes set for Tuesday evening are in jeopardy, and the outcome is uncertain. The package, if approved, would be a crucial part of the budget process as Trump pushes the Republicans who control Congress to approve a massive bill that would extend tax breaks, which he secured during his first term, but are expiring later this year, while also cutting spending across federal programs and services. According to Andrew Solander with Axios, the vote on a budget resolution is the critical first step towards passing a massive fiscal bill that President Trump has put forth. Several GOP lawmakers said Tuesday they remain opposed to the resolution, which would allow for $4.5 trillion in tax cuts, a $4 trillion debt ceiling increase, and $2 trillion in spending cuts. In the conference meeting, Republicans framed a vote against the budget resolution as a vote against Trump's agenda, according to lawmakers who were present. Some rank-and-file Republicans coming out of the conference meeting expressed a degree of skepticism that the scheduled 6:30 p.m. vote would go ahead as planned. According to David Morgan with Reuters, Johnson appears to lack the near-unanimous support he needs from his 218-215 Republican majority to deliver on Trump's tax cut plan, which would also fund the deportation of migrants living in the U.S. illegally, tighten border security, energy deregulation, and military spending. The U.S. federal government currently has more than $36 trillion in debt, and the House measure would clear it to take on another $4 trillion. Current funding for federal agencies runs out March 14th, and Congress will face another deadline later this year to raise the government's self-imposed debt ceiling or risk triggering a catastrophic default. Johnson also faces uncertainty among many lawmakers who represent swing districts and large Hispanic constituencies who are concerned that deep spending cuts could harm programs that provide food assistance, scholarship grants, and the Medicaid health care program for the poor. Some of those lawmakers appeared to be more upbeat late on Monday, saying they had been assured that aid to Medicaid beneficiaries who are citizens and federal support for the program would not be scaled back. The House was due to vote at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on whether to begin debating the budget resolution, which both the House and Senate must pass to unlock a parliamentary tool that Republicans will need to circumvent Democratic opposition and the Senate filibuster to enact Trump's legislative agenda later this year. Vote on passage of the resolution was set for around 6 p.m. 14 digits of debt. They are stealing the taxes of your unborn grandchildren and have done it since my grandparents were my age. That's the real reason that the party's pro-life. They still need us to have the kids they've already robbed blind, living like junkies on the government black card. 40 trillion motherfucking dollars. That's 40,000,000,000,000,000. .00. Keep the change. According to Valerie Volkovici, Tim Reed, and Alexandra Alper at Reuters, federal workers face fresh uncertainty on Tuesday about their futures after Elon Musk gave them another chance to respond to his ultimatum that they justify their jobs or risk termination, contradicting guidance from some Trump cabal officials that the request was voluntary. The confusing back and forth has rippled through the federal bureaucracy, with some agencies, such as the U.S. Treasury Department, instructing workers to comply, while others, such as the Pentagon, have not. It has become a test of how much power Musk wields over U.S. government's operations. Employees across the government received an email over the weekend asking them to summarize their accomplishments of the past week by Monday. In a post on X, the social media site Musk owns, the tech billionaire asserted that failure to respond would be considered a resignation. With the deadline approaching on Monday, the Office of Personnel Management, the government's human resources arm run by Musk aides, told workers they could ignore the email. Musk, the billionaire CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, who has been tasked by President Trump to lead a radical downsizing of the federal government, was undeterred. Quote, subject to the discretion of the president, they will be given another chance. Failure to respond a second time will result in termination, Musk wrote on X late Monday. Who the fuck do these fucking people think they are? That they believe they're entitled to treat honest, hardworking, decent Americans this way. As they cut Meals on Wheels to seniors because the program was a waste of $3 million per year. Magalardo's golf trips to Mar-a-Lago cost $3 million a pop. The piece of shit won't give up one single golf trip to feed the fucking elderly. That's who you voted for. So fuck you very much. If you speak the truth, you're always right. Do svidaniya.